Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can add custom pipelines within Slant. And then I'm also going to dive into functionality around opportunities and a few workflow automations that you can build to help make more efficient processes around your opportunities. So first, by default, you all will have a prospect and a client pipeline here on the Opportunities tab. Now you have the ability to create custom pipelines like this insurance pipeline that I've created. So to create a new pipeline, you'll just click the plus new pipeline button, add the name, and then you can now select if you want to be able to add both clients and prospects or one or the other, and then create that pipeline. Once the pipeline is created, then you'll be able to edit the different stages within the pipeline. You can do that, of course, just by clicking into a stage and changing the name, the color, and some of the other default settings. Or you can also click the cogwheel here to be able to move around different stages, rename them in bulk, change the color in bulk, and then also delete any pipelines that you've created. Once you've created your pipeline and you have your different stages, you can also set default probabilities, which will help you calculate the weighted values for each stages. Diving a little bit further into opportunities here. So once the pipeline is all set up, you'll be able to create an opportunity for either a prospect or a client on these opportunity pipelines. By default, you'll name the opportunity, and then you'll have these first few settings here along the top, which will tell you the AUM associated with it, target date closed, the household associated to it's assigned to. And you can also add labels, which are helpful if you want to filter the opportunities into different segments. If you have other values that you want to track, you can also add custom fields onto the opportunity cards, and these can be number amounts, it can be text, drop downs, anything you might be tracking with your opportunity. If you want to add a custom field onto your opportunity card, you'll just go to your settings, go to custom fields, add a new custom field, and then make sure that it's on the opportunity object. And then you'll select what type of data it is. If it's a value like a percentage or money currency value, you can click number there and select your format, or you can select any of the other options. And once you create that field, you'll see I've got some opportunity custom fields already created. Then those will automatically appear as fields on that opportunity card. You also have a compact view on your pipeline. So if you prefer to see less information, especially as you start to add more opportunities to a pipeline, you can also switch to the compact view over here and of course expand any card that you need to see further information on. Once you have created your opportunity, there are a few different filters that you can use which help you just focus on specific people and segments within the opportunity pipeline. So you can filter by label, again, to segment your opportunities. When the target close date is, you could also filter by custom field value amounts or dropdowns. By default, we will sum the total amount of AUM up here in the top corner for the entire pipeline, as well as at the top of each of these opportunity stages. However, you can also, if you've added another number custom field, sum by any of those custom fields. So if you have a fee, for example, or any other value that you're tracking, to see that total and weighted amount as well for each of the stages and total. So once you've built your pipeline together and you're able to start tracking where people are in your sales pipeline, you can begin to build automations via workflows. So I'm going to dive into workflows and show 3 examples of automations that can help you save time with opportunities. The first is to create a new opportunity automatically when a prospect is added into the Slant CRM. So to do that, you will add the trigger household created and make sure the household type is prospect. And then you can add further conditions if you only want to create opportunities for specific type of prospects, say if they contain a specific tag. And then once you have that trigger, then you'll add whatever actions you want here. And in this case, I'm going to add create opportunity. And then you'll name the opportunity, insert variable household name so that it would name the opportunity with the household or client name. And then you would select which pipeline you want to add them to. And you could also add a default value and probability for that opportunity. Another common workflow is to create a task or send an email when an opportunity is created. So the trigger for this one is going to be opportunity created, and again, you could add conditions so that only when an opportunity is created in, your prospect pipeline, and then to do an action based off of that. So you might want to set a reminder for you to call that individual when an opportunity is created for a prospect. So in this case, I would have the trigger opportunity created, and then the action could be either create a task for you to call that individual. You could also send an email automatically or any other number of actions. And then the final workflow I want to show you is to automate something happening. For example, when a person moves from one stage into their pipeline. So the trigger for that is going to be stage moved, and then you would mention which pipeline it's in and then which pipeline stage they move to. So for example, you could say, if that person moves to meeting scheduled, for example, I want to do some sort of action automatically. And that could be sending an email that says, okay, you've scheduled an email. Here's what you need to know. You might also create a task for yourself so that when someone moves to the connected stage, you create a task to call them and give a follow-up. But this is a good way to add actions such as creating tasks or sending emails or starting a project that trigger based on an individual moving to a specific stage within the opportunity. So there's a lot to play around with pipelines, with opportunities, and workflow automations. And of course, if you have questions, reach out. We're always happy to help.